The moment she turned the key in the lock, my heart sank. I had always known this day would come. Not like this, but I had felt the inevitability in the way she watched me, in the lingering glances she gave when I spoke about my work, about my private things. The safe wasn't particularly large, but it had been my fortress for years, the one place where no one could touch what mattered most. I had never imagined that the person I loved the most, the woman I called my wife, would be the one to breach it. "Done," she said casually, as if she were opening a drawer in the kitchen. She smiled at me, a smile that once made me melt, and I felt a chill crawl down my spine. I forced my voice steady. "You sure you want to do this, Lisa?" She shrugged, a flicker of impatience crossing her face. "I just want to see what you've been hiding all these years. It's normal curiosity, isn't it?" I nodded, my throat tight. "Normal, maybe. But some things aren't meant to be looked at." She laughed lightly, a sound that no longer carried warmth. "Oh, come on. You've been acting so mysterious. It's just a little safe." Her words were careless, but I noticed the way her eyes darted nervously to the lock, betraying a hint of eagerness. I had never seen her like this, not inquisitive in a cute, playful way, but in a way that was invasive, almost hunting. As the door clicked open, the room seemed to hold its breath. She leaned forward, her fingers brushing over the cold steel. And then she saw it. The smile froze mid-air. Her eyes widened, and for the first time in our 10 years together, she looked at me not with love or amusement, but with fear. What is this?" she whispered, almost choking on the words. I didn't answer immediately. I let the silence stretch, long enough for her to realize that this wasn't some trinket, some secret stash of money. It was worse. Much worse. She pulled back slightly, as if the air itself had become toxic. The safe contained a single folder, heavy with documents, photographs, and letters. Things that I had hoped would never need to be confronted. Things that, once revealed, would unravel the carefully constructed life we had built together. I finally spoke, my voice low and brittle. "This is everything I've kept hidden from you." Her gaze flicked from the contents to my face, searching for a hint of jest. There was none. "Hidden from me?" "Yes," I said. "Not because I didn't trust you, but because I didn't know if I could face what you might do if you knew." The room felt smaller, charged with a tension I could almost taste. Lisa's hands trembled, and she stepped back, her body rigid. You've been spying." Her voice was accusatory, yet tinged with disbelief. I shook my head. "No, not spying. Just keeping track. Had to know. I had to understand, before it was too late." Her lips parted, but no words came. She stared at me as if seeing me for the first time, and I realized that the woman I had loved, trusted, married, and shared my life with, was no longer the same woman I had believed in. Finally, she found her voice. These pictures, these letters, are these proof?" I met her gaze, unwavering. "Yes, proof. Proof that you were never really mine." Her face paled, and she sank into the armchair, hands covering her mouth. I could feel the disbelief radiating from her. She had expected maybe a modest secret, a few receipts, or an old photograph she hadn't seen. But not this. Not the betrayal so deep that it cut through the years like a jagged blade. I walked slowly toward her, but she recoiled almost instinctively. Don't come closer." I stopped, hands at my sides, fighting the urge to reach out. I had imagined this moment 1,000 times, sometimes in anger, sometimes in sorrow, but never with her reaction like this. I don't understand," she stammered. "I mean, we thought we were happy. We laughed, I held up a hand. "We were happy in the parts you allowed yourself to be. But your heart wasn't ever truly here. You were with someone else, Lisa. And I had to know. I had to see the truth, no matter how much it hurt." The room was silent, except for the faint ticking of the wall clock. Her eyes were red, not from tears but from shock. Her hands trembled as they hovered over the folder, yet she dared not touch it again. I never thought," she whispered. Her voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw her vulnerability. Not the controlled, polished mask she wore for the world, but the raw, fragile woman behind it. "I know," I said softly. "I never wanted to see this either. But the truth doesn't care about what we want." She buried her face in her hands. I didn't mean. I didn't. You didn't mean to betray me." Asked sharply. "You didn't mean to lie for years. To sneak around behind my back. To make promises you never intended to keep." She shook her head frantically. I didn't plan it like this. Just, it happened. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to tell you." Her confession was jagged, uneven, filled with desperation. But it didn't erase the damage. It didn't erase the years of deception. I felt a hollowness in my chest, a void that had been growing quietly while I lived in a version of reality I thought was real. I sank into the chair opposite her, my hands gripping the arms tightly. "Lisa, love isn't just about feelings. It's about trust. And trust is gone. Every lie you told, every moment you chose someone else over me. It's all gone. It's like watching a beautiful painting crumble, brushstroke by brushstroke." Her shoulders shook, and finally the tears came. Silent at first, then racking sobs that filled the room. I wanted to reach out to comfort her, to somehow make the world right again. But I couldn't. The bond that had held us together had been poisoned, and even love wasn't strong enough to undo that. After what felt like hours, she looked at me with empty eyes. "So, what now?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Now, we face the consequences. You know what you did, I know what you did. And we decide if there's any way forward." Her voice was barely a whisper. Do you hate me?" I shook my head slowly, though it was a lie I told myself more than her. "I don't hate you. I just don't recognize you anymore. I loved someone I thought existed. I married someone else entirely." We sat there, the weight of our lives pressing down, the silence thick and suffocating. Outside, the world went on oblivious to the fracture that had just split apart everything we had built. Finally she spoke again. Can I take something with me? Just a memento." I looked at her unsure. Every instinct told me to deny her, to hold on to the last fragments of my world. But something inside me, maybe the remnants of love, maybe pity, made me nod. She took a small photograph from the folder. It was of us years ago, before secrets, before lies, when our laughter was genuine. She held it to her chest and whispered, "I'm sorry." I said nothing. There was nothing left to say. The safe had spoken the truth that words could never fully convey. And in that moment I realized that some betrayals don't just shatter trust, they dismantle the soul of what we thought was love. She left the room quietly, her steps hesitant, almost reverent. And when the door clicked shut behind her, I sat in silence, staring at the empty space where she had been. The folder remained in the safe, untouched, a permanent reminder that love can exist alongside betrayal, but once the truth is revealed, nothing ever goes back to the way it was. I closed the safe, the lock clicking with finality, and felt the hollow echo of a life divided between truth and lies. The woman I had loved was gone, replaced by the stark reality of her choices, and I was left to gather the pieces of the man who had trusted too much, loved too deeply, and learned too late.